Reddit by Reddit recap. Girls, what do you think would be the worst part of being a guy? Always being aware of all actions. Like smile at a woman. If you're good looking, totally fine. If not, creep. Walk behind a woman at night, creep. Want to help a little child to find his parents? Most likely creepy. I think it is very hard to learn how to act in public. What I hate is when as the girl that can be like, I only date tall people or 60k figure salary and nobody cares, but if a guy doesn't want to date someone fat, then they're some kind of piece of being made fun of for crying or showing emotions. That and getting kicked in the balls. As a man, I felt terrible when I found a child who lost his parents at the water park, and the first thing I had to do was to enlist the help of a woman before even approaching the kid. If you're a guy, you're just blocked from a lot of interactions for the very concrete possibility of being seen as a predator. I like being friendly to strangers, but a lot of times they'll assume either you're ill-intentioned or you want to sell them something. Getting random boners in awkward situations, particularly during puberty when everything is already awkward enough as it is. This brings back horrible memories of being 14 years old in English class when the girl opposite me dropped her pen under the table at just the wrong time and saw my random trouser tent. Not receiving compliments on your physical appearance often. Girls compliment each other on a daily basis. Girls will often receive compliments even from complete strangers. It can really help your self-esteem to reference those compliments when you're not feeling great about your appearance. Being in a very guyish environment when I'm feeling fragile and sad. My partner just started antidepressants. For a long time he hasn't been okay. He skips work a lot. He works maybe 9 and 10 days. Recently he finally came to terms with his mental health and decided to see a doctor. I encouraged him to talk to his boss about it, since his work performance and mental health are directly linked, and it's important that he has support at work, not just at home. He was terrified of talking about it. He was afraid of looking like an or a in front of his workmates. Being in a guy's environment is great, but there needs to be more of a bro attitude when one of the guys is clearly not okay. Look after each other. Either social inequality, being torn down for having feelings, not being able to dress freely in the same way that women can dress in either male or female clothes, not having their mental illnesses being taken seriously, being expected to have absolutely massive arms and broad shoulders inflated to the point where it's not even attractive, being ridiculed for taking care of themselves, etc., or getting random boners. Being told to man up or feeling shamed for having feelings. I, myself, have a hard time remembering that men have feelings purely based on the men that I've had in my life. They never acted like they had actual feelings. I have to continually remind myself that men aren't always calm and steady, and they certainly don't have to be. I would hate that. You should be able to feel how you need to feel and express that without fear of judgment. Having to take responsibility for yourself. If a woman can't feed her kids, she gets welfare, or she could have gotten an abortion. If a guy can't feed his kids, he gets jail. If a woman can't find a job, she can repurpose herself as a stay-at-home mommy. If a man can't find a job, he's a pitiful loser. If a woman is afraid of spiders, she's a delicate flower. If a man is afraid of spiders, he's a pathetic weenie. If a woman drops $sign on a shopping weekend with her girlfriend, she's engaging in self-care. If a man drops $sign on a sports weekend with the boys, he's an irresponsible man-child. I remember reading here on Reddit, a guy lost his best friend, I believe, and the girlfriend said to him that he could cry if he wanted. Hearing these words, he just bawled, cried for the death of his friend. Next day or something, his girlfriend left him saying that she was seeing him differently after he cried. So yeah, edit. All of these replies made me do an introspection of everything around me. I think it's important for all of us to retain some of these experiences and use them as knowledge to our own lives. Thank you all. Truly. I know someone who got in a street fight with some other guy and lost. His GF lost all attraction to him and no longer wanted to duck him because of it, and she dumped him. When I was a little girl at school, I remember boys that didn't play football were completely shunned. I was awful at it, so I was happy to be a girl and not be forced to play it just to get some recognition or respect. And this was during all my school and high school years. I should add I'm from South America, where football is by far the most popular sport to the point nothing else seems to count. Some of my friends were really good archers or played basketball, but it meant nothing. It was hard to help them through it, but I tried my best. It was so normal too. Even in physical education, boys were expected to just play football and get grades based on that. Back then I was so terrified it would someday apply to girls as well. Now I'm just angry for my friends. Average looking woman doesn't need a job to meet a guy and have a family. A lot of men are willing to support women, so technically if she is not ugly she can still live well. An average looking guy with no job? Nah, no woman will agree to support him. Hypothetically speaking, I have a full-time job and have my own bank account. But hypothetically, if I was single and broke, I could still find a dude to pay for my everything and let me move in with him. Not feeling like you can say hi to kids or watch them play and have fun without parents thinking something sinister. I don't have kids yet and I love watching kids enjoy life and play. I'm a woman and there's no problem. Obviously I don't stare for ages, but I will smile and watch briefly, just enjoying their childlike simplicity and the way they interact. Getting custody of a child. I believe that a study should be made in which they analyze with whom will the kid be better psychologically and physically, putting an emphasis on the psychology part. Sometimes the dad is not even heard. Look at the situation of Danielle Cohn's dad. Both parties should be heard. My boyfriend got divorced from his ex-wife 2 years ago. His story is basically a cliche, it happens so often to men. Lost the business he started, half his savings, half of his time with his daughter, and more than half of their old friends, to a woman who cheated on him multiple times right after he stuck with her through cancer treatment. So basically, the way that both the law and people in general treat men going through divorces. Mixed signals from girls and having to constantly worry if you're being perceived as creepy. Having little to no agency in your dating life. Ask any man who has done online dating and they will tell you how absolutely barren it is trying to find someone who will match with you and keep a conversation going. Cool, I'm not the only one. All the expectations men are put up with. The having to always be strong and not allowed to show emotion. The not allowed to be sensitive. The men should work so the women can stay home. The men are subjected to only being manly and having no feelings. Also, not to mention the random boners and having to always make the first move. May sound alarming, but the prospect of receiving little to no romantic interest indefinitely kinda sucks. Women have to navigate around unwanted attention and further harassment all the time. Yet, I'm confident a good odd number of cis hetero men would pick being harassed over receiving mild attention consistently. Didn't see this mentioned by any women here, so I will. Adult men have almost no physical contact with other human beings if they aren't in a relationship. Being taught to hide emotions all the time, that's horrible for one's mental health. How having mental illness is treated. It sucks for everyone but seems less tolerable for a man to be mentally ill. IDK, how else to word it? Having balls. It seems like they only have two settings, itch and hurt. The mentality of having to be the breadwinner, head of house, and dealing with the social consequences of not living up to that. Not feeling wanted, desired. When a woman is single or lonely, she can rest assured that many men will still chase her and try to ask her out. When a guy is lonely, he feels like an unwanted piece of trash. Having balls. They're super sensitive. They stick to the legs. All of your movements basically revolve around the comfort of your twig and berries. No thanks. The expectation of being made of stone. Growing up, I always heard the whole men don't insert any display of positive emotions here, and I remember thinking about how wrong that was. Or boys don't play with or enjoy anything considered to be feminine, and if they do, they're gay. I think the absolute worst is being laughed at when coming forward about sexual and domestic violence. Who the duck does that? Imagine a family member, female obviously, coming to you and telling you that they're being abused by their partner. You beat the ducker into the ground or even kill them. So, why in the hell wouldn't you do the same for a male family member? Best comment of the day. I actually hate this so much. My boyfriend is only allowed to get angry because it's not manly to feel things. He has a lot of stresses in his life, but society is just so harsh that he can't even open up to me most of the time. I worry about him so much. Guys are pressured like this, and yet extremist feminists on Twitter go on about how men committing suicide is a good thing, and that we should keep telling them they're crap every day. It drives me crazy, and I just wish I could hit some people. My partner is a human being with emotions. Let him be that way.